Good afternoon. Welcome to my monthly end of the month evaluation video. We are two people right now, as you see. My favorite and famous, the youngest cat, Toby, is with me as well. At lunchtime, he's normally sleepy and he comes and jumps my lap. So we have to record together. I'm not recording, it's live actually. So we'll see how long he will stand me talking and you watching. Okay, let's go back to the basics of this month. First of all, as you know, at the end of the month, today we are expecting some numbers before closing the month. And there are two of them. One is the personal expenditures index, which is to come at Turkey's hour at 16:30, 4:30 in the afternoon. And following that, about an hour later, not exactly, we will also have Chicago PMI. So Chicago is as you know, is a hub for automotive industry, and at at a time before, two-thirds of all engineers used to work in that area, Detroit and Chicago area. So right now, as there is not much production, they probably moved down to Texas, some of them. So let's get to basic. The gold price is down about only 3%, whereas we know there are huge drops in items like crypto coins, meme coins, and meme dollar, and everything else meme. They drop. S&P and Nasdaq indexes are also down from last night. We will see what happens today. As before the market opening, these numbers will be coming and they will be affecting the price of gold and the markets. Okay, how are they going to affect? If we get a terrible number far away, up or down, it doesn't matter, too far away from the economists' expected values, it's either accepted as inflationary, or on the reverse side, it's accepted as we are going into deep recession. So if both is correct, then it's stagflation, both inflation and recession added together, which I'm expecting in the USA at the third and fourth quarter, especially. I see a deeper recession based on my calculations. As I'm an Austrian group of economists, my calculations are showing the delayed recession. Why is it delayed? Because 10% of the American people are getting 49%, 50% of the money. So, or let's say all the treasures, 50% of the treasure is owned only by the 10% of the people. So it's very hard pressing these people with high interest rates and trying to control inflation. They can they can live for 3 years, 4 years with such a big money. But on the other hand, the other remaining 90% of people are from the jungles of Africa, living under very bad conditions. So uh, that's how we call them in Turkey. You know, the people from Netherlands, the first 20%, 20 million, and the remaining are from the jungles of the Africa. So they have to live in that terms. Similarly, you have it in the States as well. 330 million population, about 60 million people receiving food stamps. So what good is it that the country is so developed if it's about 1/6 of every person is remaining in poverty? And this is food stamps, not poverty. It's worse than that. So anyway, we cannot correct this as we are just individuals investing, but there are ways for us to save our way out of this. And in any condition, whether you do overtime, more time, and not own a cat and don't have such expenses, you have to save. And with the savings, you have to make good investments. I watch many of the YouTube channels in English as well. There are channels I agree with. There are channels which sell New York Times bestseller books. I don't agree at all. Nobody can wait 30, 40 years to get rich by saving slowly. You must find like 7%, which the S&P indices give you if you just invest in a stock exchange. There are ways to get around it. If not in the US, definitely worldwide. How you can do that? Leverage, but long-term leverage, not short-term leverage. Short-term leverage is debt of the investor. You should not play around with forex, foreign exchange, where you can buy 100 times, 50 times. That's outright gambling. But if you have a fixed asset, like buying a house on a mortgage, with 2-3% down, if it's your first house, you can get that in the States. And then once you have that, or you can even if it's a big house, you can use downstairs as a rental, and then that's called house hacking, and have that person who rented the house help you in the initial stages of paying that first house down. My offer is never buy a house where you're going to live in for long if you are start using this system as a leverage to grow your wealth. So it shouldn't be an expensive house. It should be a median priced house. The highest is 400,000 US dollars. I rather prefer 250,000. As I said, this is not for you to live in it, indefinitely. This is just for investing purposes, just like investing in a company. What's the difference? If you invest in a stock exchange, it's definite that you make 10%, 7% in between those, or sometimes like last night, you lose huge amount. If you can stand the emotional side, you can make some money. But on the other side, if you buy a leveraged house, we know that the leveraged houses in the US make about 6%, 5.6% in reality every year in value. And besides this, you collect about 6% up to 10% in rental fees. So when I see people comparing buying stocks against buying houses, it's correct and it's wrong. Why is it correct and it's wrong? Because they prefer just rent a house and don't buy a house, because you pay insurance, many other things, and so it's cheaper for you to stay in a rental house. If you're buying cash, that's correct. But if you're buying with a mortgage, with the same amount of money, I'm about to buy one house in the USA for cash, I can buy three houses at the same time. So you can see the levered leverage. And while you pay for the house about 3-4 years, you can HELOC, which means you can get a loan on your equity, not just wait for equity like they mentioned. You can use your equity to leverage further to buy your second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth house. Okay, so that's how many people did it, and there are many examples, starting from Robert Kiyosaki, Ken McEnroe, and many others. Like I'm watching so many of these people who made big amounts of money. However, once they become rich from this leverage buying real estate and houses, they change their view, because they take the lazy way, because renting a rental space, it needs work, it's a 30-year thing. Most people just skip that and use that money they made from YouTube, and they made this money from real estate. They revert to, like, okay, I have now anyway $5, $4, $6 million, so I'll just go put it in the stock exchange and buy other, mini, pini, tiny mini stuff. So, uh, and none of them are consistent. They could not remain in real estate. All the young people who got into real estate became rich through real estate investing, mortgage real estate investing. After a while, most of them just went away from real estate, because now they are rich. They have more money. They don't have to worry about rental. But That's how you became rich. Why don't you continue? Well, you can find people to manage your houses. You don't have to manage them yourself. In the US, it's very well managed. Anyway, before I close the topic on investment and getting rich quicker with a leverage of mortgage, not a house, because only they give to a house what you put down, maybe one, you get 10 times loan. Or on general cases, you put down 20%, you get 80% mortgage from the banks, and which is fixed and it cannot increase except Canada. Canada gives for 5 years and they review your interest rate after the fifth year. So it's not a variable interest rate, it's a fixed interest rate. So once you start that, just continue 3 4 years with it. And then, as I said, just get a new HELOC, get a new loan on the equity, because house price will also increase besides your payments. House price increase will also allow you to get more credit to buy as a down payment your second house. Then the two houses will buy you the third and fourth houses. I know many people like David Chandler, which who has a channel as well, who insisted in using this formula. He has over 200 houses, apartments in the US, okay? And now he's investing out of state. So that's the way to go if you want to invest and continue investing. It's not a must, as I said, like Meet Kevin and Stephen. Also, they reverted. They don't invest in real estate now. They just invest in stocks and this and that, but there are ways. You have to choose which way you want to go. Passive investment ways. There are also active investment ways. I don't think anybody succeeded in the active investment, which came from passive investment, because there is too much hassle, taxes, people to work with, this and that. I mean, it's too much hassle. And then you have to make money. And look, Trump is trying to make it easy because Americans don't want to open up new businesses with the existing conditions. Everybody is just putting their money into the passive making money. Who would bother, working with? They are not even bothering with renting the houses. Why would they start jobs, businesses? I don't think it's possible. As long as you get such a high leverage income from the stock exchange, not doing business, passive income, why should you invest in active business? You wouldn't. It's not wise. It's just maybe there is something in you that wants to make business, but as I said, it's not logical. It's just sensible thinking, not logical thinking. Okay, but if interest rates went down, if taxes go down, if they don't charge you everything in the world that you make, then you can think of opening up your own business. Business entrepreneurship is good, but not in this environment where you make huge money in the stocks, there and that. Why should you bother? You just make your initial payments, then you just grow on your initial payment and the investment, like the mortgaged house, whatever. And okay, let's come to our day. Today we are expecting two numbers. One is, as I said, I will read from here in exactly English terms, which will come at 8:30 before the stock exchange opening in the US. It's core PCE price index month on month January, and the core price index year on year January. The numbers expected are for the month 0.3, okay, 0.3 increase in for the month. For the year, it's expected to drop from 2.8 to 2.6. This is the core PCA. If instead of this dropping from 2.8 to 2.6, if it goes up 2 or stays at 2.8 or goes up to 3%, you can expect a big problem in the stock exchange closing today. And gold, as I said, how people will evaluate this is a different issue, because in some cases, investors think this is good because the inflation is so high. Fed may just stop decreasing the, let's say, keeping the interest rate stable, start decreasing because But if the interest is, if the inflation is high, they must stay calm and even increase interest rates, which they can't because America has enough $36.5 trillion interest rate expense. So maybe the $5 million citizenship gold card from the Trump card must be increased to $10 million, or maybe why don't we collect all the world into the USA? You don't have to, you don't need $5 million. Just say anyone who has $300,000 can come in. So instead of like 5 million, how about 50 million? Huh? Then they will be equal to people who are on food coupons in the US. Okay, you'll have equivalent of people coming in rich with their money to the people who are on food stamps. Okay, anyway, this turned out to be a joke. I think it's like talking a lot and nothing happening. No action, talk only. I used to work for NATO, and we used to call the company, not the company, organization, NATO, no action, talk only. So I'm seeing similar. There is some action, but no results because judges are also blocking the way. We will see after 100 days, 200 days, we will evaluate how much of this is like a bullying, how much is the real result like Javier Milei achieved in Argentina. Okay, so the second number is going to come 1 hour later is Chicago PMI, as I mentioned. Chicago PMI at US time. US time, I'm just checking the timing of it. Yes, at 9:45 in the morning Eastern time. Chicago PMI, this time is February, not January. They are expecting it to go up from 39.5 to 40.5. If it goes up, it's inflationary. Too much. If it goes up like instead of 40.5, if it goes up 45.5, that's inflationary. If it stays down at 39, 38, 35, that's deflationary, recessionary. So no way you can make people happy. I tell you, both ways is terrible. In any case, for the Turkish people, we are just waiting for Saturday and Sunday. It's a Ramadan time, starting tonight in Muslim countries. Some of them start a day earlier, although they can calculate even a millisecond of movement in the space, billions of miles away. They couldn't agree when is the sun seen from Saudi Arabia. They can see the sun from millions of miles. It's just to be on a different application. They just want to be different. So some people already started today fasting. Some people will start it fasting tomorrow. And during Ramadan time, don't expect any work in the Arabian countries. I used to work for Coca-Cola, and in Ramadan time, Turkish people work. It's not like Christmas here. We get no use of neither Christmas nor Ramadan. We work all the day. But in Saudi Arabia, when I was the manager, finance manager, I called the bank, and the guard opened the phone and said, nobody works here in Ramadan. You want me to talk it like Indian people? Sir, nobody works in here. Nobody works in India during the Ramadan time. Of course, not in India, in Saudi Arabia. So basically, everybody's holiday except the 99% of Turks are, although they are Muslims, there is no break, no day off. We work 7 hours, 24 hours a day. So you'll see, keep seeing me my face every day, okay, in Turkish. And in English, you'll see me again in March twice. So we'll talk about that. But as I said, gold is only 3%, which is about $80-90 away from its record high. So, but when you watch the media, all the news you see is gold is it's going to close the month with a loss, It's going to close the week with a loss. It cannot close the month with a loss. So they have to find that it's going to close the day with a loss, So that's what they are wishing, because nobody wants to invest in gold, because gold on average gave on the 15-year, if you average it, you get 7 to 8% gain in US dollars, which is similar to stock exchanges. But nobody wants you to invest there because you don't pay commission. Yeah, you have to pay commission. You buy the gold physical, put it at home, and you pay commission once. You just keep it, sit on it, and how are we going to feed our families if you don't pay? Buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell. That's how we make money, okay? In the stock exchange. And you have to change the stocks often, not, when it gets to trouble, they say you should invest in a company like you're a partner. You should not sell your shares, okay? And then, but when it comes to like normal time investing, yes, you must sell and buy, Why did you keep them so long, Why didn't you take your profits out? You should take your profits out. BS, BS, bull. And okay, you got it, BS. Huh? Okay, friends. So never expect anyone claiming, although planes are not sufficiently to taking the gold from London to COMEX exchanges nowadays. They are even using passenger planes. They are not. They are charging for extra luggage, but they are carrying gold, heavy gold, very heavy gold, by with a hurry, because they are saying things, well, their excuses, Trump may start putting tariffs on gold coming from Europe, so they better buy it now. Well, why don't they just buy the certificates of the gold? And why do they have to bring it physically to US? Are they going to mint them? So much gold, 3,000 tons of gold? Anyway, if you want to believe it, you can believe it. If you don't want to believe it, we'll see what happens in 100 days. Okay, 100 days is important for a second term of the same person. Okay, I wish you all nice day, a big gains. Keep investing small amounts in a good basket if you wish to. I don't I use a basket, but 95% is gold and silver right now. There's only 5% because, uh, as I said before, the stock exchange in the US, the stock exchange in US is extremely high valued. Maybe not in Turkey, but in Turkey there's a bigger problem because as we pay so much high interest rates, almost twice as much as United States in US dollars, nobody comes to Turkey to invest in companies, to buy stock exchange stocks. They come here to buy government bonds, which are guaranteeing 7-8% in US dollars every 6 months payment. They are buying our dollar euro bonds. Why should they come? And the TL is very valuable now. They will just wait in the government euro bond, and when the dollar TL devaluates again, then they will exchange, at that time, and then they will come. But they will be probably informed when that time is coming, because you don't want to scare the banksters. You have to be good with the banksters, otherwise they don't come next time. So you should not you can make a trap for the common people. You should not make a trap for the banksters. Okay, banksters are your partners if you are on that side of the river. Okay, I hope you all a nice February end and a nice March. March is a long month. February was only 28 days, very short. Probably you got paid, or tomorrow you'll get paid, but March will be too long, extremely long, 31 days. Okay, so we'll see what happens. Only retired people are happy because they will still get their money on the 25th, 26th. So it's going to be short month for them. But their April pay will be terrible. They'll have to wait. So in the meantime, due to the Bayram, they will get some money, like starting from 3,000 TL. Retirees get twice a year at the religious holidays. They get some holiday payments. This started 2-3 years ago. And I know they are not happy about it, but they gave it once, so they have to give it always. So that may cover you a little bit, under the hunger situation, because the payments of base salary is under hunger levels. Okay, in Turkey they are low, although it's higher than like 4 times of Egypt. It's a hunger level because TL is so much overvalued that inside is inside Turkey is extremely expensive, and that's why most people are taking away and dismantling their factories, and their textile companies moving to Egypt and cheaper labor countries. Maybe US may employ some, if you don't want to pay over $600 is the net pay. If you add up the taxes paid by the employer and all the other commissions and future payments during retirement, it costs about 1,000, more than $1,000 for an employer in Turkey. So open up the gold card. We want employer card, employee card. Okay, $1,000. Yes. I hope to see you later again. Best regards and all the best. We'll see you in March.